Yeah.
But do you have any way to go through and directly edit your AI's knowledge and content?
There are, yeah. So Neo4j, the group database, provides a nice way of directly, like in a GUI, adding nodes and edges. So you can do that pretty quickly. And also the sentence patterns are all in XML, very human readable.
Because I've experienced, I struggle with the same idea of, letting your bot out there for unsupervised learning, but then what if they learn something wrong? And the way I've resolved it in my own head is currently the one bot that I have that's out there that's public. Anyone can, if you say you have to say the sentence right, like a gorilla is an animal. And right now I just have this noun structure set up. Anyone can tell it that a noun is another noun, and it will remember that. And I can periodically go through the database structure. I can go through very easily to edit it. And I liken that to sending my child off to the playground, where I have no idea what they're going to hear. But then when they come back home and they say, Mom, I learned that a gorilla is a fish. And I'm the ultimate authority to correct that.
Right.
So that's how I've kind of resolved for myself that, it's going to pick up stuff that's wrong, but that's my job as the parent to make sure everything's correct. And so periodically I go through and make sure it knows only true things. Or things that I perceive as true, which might not be right anyway.
That's a really great idea.
So we should talk more, because I think some of what you're doing is what I'm doing. I think mine is very rudimentary. But it's working for me for now. It's just the downside is it takes a long time, because child is getting input from 5 different sources all at once, where the bot is just getting a sentence at a time. So it's just a longer process to learn.
Right. There's also sort of like, one of the graph operations is merging. So is things change not only they don't just add information, they change the structure. I haven't yet put in a system for sort of version control where I can step it back, because it is sort of destructive when you add is relationships.
I have a question. I think some of us, we talked about this on the mailing list, have chatted with Wolfgang Alpha and discovered some of those Easter eggs, I guess, if there's conversation responses. Is that durable or based on this technology?
No, those are actually pretty lame examples of straight mappings from a broad pattern of sentences to specific output. I think those are actually probably the least advanced part of Wolfram Alpha, honestly. Although they probably get a disproportionate number of hits, because people love to say, what is the meaning for that, or what is the ultimate answer to the question, like the universe or anything, or what is the airspeed velocity of an unlimited swallow. But I don't know, the cool stuff is really if you type in something like my mother's aunt's sister's grandmother's nephew, and then it can tell you the relationship of that person to you, and the amount of DNA you have in common, and what's the likelihood of you having the same blood type, and things like that.
Yeah, I remember you saying that the proportion of those conversational inputs was relatively small compared to
Yeah, it's actually, in proportion to its sort of interestingness, I think it's way overhyped. That's all the opening blog was talking about. It's you can do this unladen swallow query.
For example, you have a huge database of the graphs. What do you think? Is it possible to make a program which can create new graphs, new knowledge based on the molecular knowledge, kind of aggregation, kind of making new confusion?
Yeah, absolutely. You can ask questions, and basically that is a search, usually.
No, that, for example, you have accumulated database, new graphs of your knowledge. One of idea is to have an algorithm which will create new knowledge based on
Oh, right,
related
inference, yeah.
So it's kind of summarization, aggregation, making new assumptions, new conclusions. So in this case, if that like responses can be unpredictable, so which can make your system more interesting.
Yeah, so probably the simplest ways I've covered in terms of like saying things like this relationship type is associative or this relationship type is commutative, right? Then it can make inference just by knowing ways of traversing the graph. But so, you know, say that love was always reflexive. Like if I love my dog, then it's known that my dog loves me, right? Which it's not, sadly. But then it would know that, you know, when I add this relationship between me and my dog, then the reverse applies automatically. So that's like one of those super simple cases. But more complicated cases, I would really love to talk to you about adding. Cool. Thank you so much, everyone. Oh, this is Neil Stevenson, by the way. That's not me.